What made God destroy the earth in the time of Noah? This is what you do not know. Welcome to the Way of the Cross channel. In this channel, we deal with biblical issues which are least expounded, and also with history on those issues which would help anyone join the dots while reading the scriptures. Welcome and join us. Please do not forget to subscribe. We will be very grateful. Take whatever we say with a pinch of salt. But please go and do your own research to see if it's true or not. Please write your comments below. We will appreciate it. Let us first examine the background of this historic event. The story of Noah and the flood is one that many of us grew up hearing about in Sunday school. But even those who did not have any religious education growing up have likely heard about the story of the flood. It is probably one of the best-known stories in the Bible, although not well understood. And it is also one of the most controversial. The story of the flood is told in Genesis chapters 6 through 9. This passage starts with a strange description of the sons of God and daughters of men seemingly producing the Nephilim, a race of giants. Mixed in with this is God's response to the wickedness of the world and his determination to destroy it all. Genesis 6 verse 6 says that the Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. The word translated as regretted in Genesis 6 verse 6 could also be translated as be grieved. And that seems to me to better fit here. This is an emotional response from the Creator over what his creation had become. Even though he knew it would come to this, it was still distressing to him. God is not an impersonal force or entity with no feelings for his creation. Rather, he is intimately involved with his creation. We see him expressing delight in what he had done, and disappointment in what we have done with his creation. Genesis 6 verses 5 to 7 tells us that the Lord saw how wicked humanity had become, that every inclination of our hearts was to do evil. And he determined to wipe us from the face of the earth. Genesis 6 verses 11 to 13 says essentially the same thing, going on to give instructions to Noah about saving a remnant of life on earth. So, it would seem like humanity had reached a point where, if God had not intervened, they would likely have destroyed themselves. And so God stepped in and put an end to the wickedness of those days. So, what really happened in those days? The events at that particular time were so strange and severe that Jesus said in Matthew 24 verses 37 to 39, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." It therefore seems that those days will be coming back again soon. It's therefore safe to assume that we should know what happened so that we can be prepared before it comes. Don't you agree? Let us see what the Book of Enoch says. Compare what it says to the Holy Bible. We will look upon the Book of Enoch Chapters 6 through to 10. This book clearly explains with detail the events that took place in those times. The 6th and 7th chapters of the non-canonical book of 1st Enoch describe just this scenario. A group of angels, called Watchers, determined to have children by human women. These children were described as giants who preyed on humans, and the Watchers taught humans things that they were not supposed to know. However, the English used is the Old English tag-along. Book of Enoch chapter 6 to chapter 10. "And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men and beget us children. And Semjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200, who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And these are the names of their leaders: Samlazaz, their leader, Arachleba, Ramiel, Kokablel, Tamlil, Ramlil, Danil, Ezekiel, Barakijel, Asarel, Armoros, Baterel, Ananel, Zakiel, Samsapil, Satarel, Turel, Jomjel, Sariel. These are their chiefs of tens. And Azazel taught men to make swords, and knives, and shields, and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets, and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Semjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings, Armoros the resolving of enchantments, Barakijel taught astrology, Kokabel the constellations, Ezekiel the knowledge of the clouds, Arakiel the signs of the earth, Shamziel the signs of the sun, and Sariel the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven.
And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said one to another, The earth made without inhabitant cries the voice of their cryings up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High. And they said to the Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, and God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth unto all the generations of the ages, and thy name holy and glorious and blessed unto all the ages. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou. And all things are naked and open in thy sight, and thou sayest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. Thou sayest what Azazel hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were preserved in heaven, which men were striving to learn. And Semjaza, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended, and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou sayest these things, and thou dost suffer them, and thou dost not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. Then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One spake, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, Go to Noah and tell him in my name, Hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the whole earth, and will destroy all that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the world. And again the Lord said to Raphael, Bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudiel, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face that he may not see light. And on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire, and heal the earth which the angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secret things that the watchers have disclosed and have taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. And to Gabriel said the Lord, Proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication and the children of the watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth. Send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle. For length of days shall they not have. And no request that they, i.e. their fathers, make of thee shall be granted unto their fathers on their behalf. For they hope to live an eternal life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And the Lord said unto Michael, Go, bind Simjaza and his associates who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations, and destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end. And let the plant of righteousness and truth appear, and it shall prove a blessing. The works of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forevermore. Through that story, we can see clearly that God does not immediately execute judgment and punishment on every transgression of humanity, but He has given us plenty of examples of what will happen to sinful humanity. Our punishment may be delayed, but it is just as certain as the flood. God takes the sinfulness of humanity seriously. Even though the flood was a one-time event, it does remind us that judgment awaits those who persist in living in rebellion against our Creator. Please remember to subscribe to this channel for similar videos. Have a good morning.